How's it going, everybody? All you NASCAR fans, this is part two of the Speed Weeks Daytona 500 from 1985 program. Let's find out where we were left off here. Right there, I believe it was. Yes, the schedule. ARCA, and then three-time ARCA champion right there. Article about Bob Daughter, actually. That's a cool looking little ad for Hardee's. Here are the ARCA drivers. Davey Allison, first one there. See if I recognize any of these others. Bob Daughter, Lee Raymond, Bob Shack. Okay. Don't recognize too many of them here. Let's see. CBS Television shows the way. It's an article about that for 84 coverage. Here's the rest of the drivers. ARCA. Who we got here? Bobby Bravac. I know that one. Let's see. Bobby Jackson. No. Bill Venturini. Wow. That's a good one. He's a car owner now. Has been for many years. Don't recognize the other ones. ARCA Supercar Season. Pictures of that. It's pretty cool. There's an ad for Skoal. The 3 Skoal sponsored cars. The different series, I believe. R.J. Reynolds, Mickey Parsons. Here are the driver's points for ARCA. Stock car owners. IROC. That's pretty cool. Old ad for IROC. Here is the little pullout, not pullout, but the entries for the Daytona Dash. This would have been the lowest series, the entry level series here, the Daytona Dash series. There's the ARCA, probable entries for that. That's 80 laps. I think the other was, is it on Saturday or is it on Friday? Shoot. I skipped right over it, didn't I? Yeah. 11 a.m. on Friday. Okay, right. And then the Daytona Sunday entries for the 500. There you see Earnhardt up top. The rest of them. Busch late model. There's a sportsman. Ron Bouchard at that time. Wow, Mike McLaughlin. That's pretty cool. Joe Ruttman. And the ARCA 200 entries. Don't see any names that jump out at me right away. Bob Daughter. Let's see, Bob Shack. Bill Venturini, Brevac. Casey Spurlock, I know that one. Let's see. Lee Raymond. Okay. Here's the back part of that. That's a cool ad right there. Kyle Petty, 7-Eleven. Results of the 21st ARCA 284. Rick Wilson won it. There's a big spread for STP and Richard Petty's car. That's kind of cool. Daytona sister tracks. Alabama International, yeah, Talladega. Darlington. There's an interesting ad. Sunny King. Haven't seen that name in a very long time. It was, most of them, let's see, does it say? Yeah, it doesn't say Florida. That's in Alabama, but there was a few of those, I believe, here in Florida at the time. Here's the qualifiers. By year, I believe it says. Oh, the winner. Okay, second and third for 59 all the way up to 84 the year before this. It's pretty cool. You can see those. All the different winners. And second and third. There's an ad for Miller, Bobby Allison. 84 500 in pictures. Pretty cool. Too bad they're all black and white. Oh well. Pontiac Paces Daytona Excitement. All right. Nope, there was something at Waltrip. Or no, that's not Waltrip. That's I forget his name now. It's not on there. Shoot. Waldo Wilson. That's who it was. CBS Television, Bob Steiner, whoever that is. This is the schedule, I think. Or no, this is Whiskey Cup Grand National Champs and Leaders from 49 to 84. Wow. It's pretty cool. Kind of hard to see that blue, but Gatorade ad. What does that say? The Patriots of North Virginia. That might interest Ken. From Nothing Fancy Collectibles, if you're watching, Ken. Huh. Northern Virginia. Will be part of the festivities prior to the race and both bring national reputations to Daytona. Wow. Okay. Here's a cool article on Rusty. The year before in the 88 Gatorade. Quite a few guys drove that from like 79 until 84. It's like 3 or 4 guys, I think. Rusty drove it for at least 1 year, I think. I thought Darrell Waltrip drove it at one time in 1980. I could be wrong. And who else? Somebody else. I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was Ricky Rudd. It might have been. Skull Bandit. Results of the twin 125s from the year before. Which, that's one thing they haven't changed. It's still on a Thursday. Some of this I'll skip past because it's not that big a deal. A lot of it's ads. Speed chart for the Daytona track. There you go. That's interesting. What's the mile an hour and what it comes to in seconds? 204 miles an hour is 44 seconds flat. Wow. You won't see them do that anymore. Or no, 200. Actually, the year after this, they went faster. It was 212. Who we have here? This is the Busch Sportsman Drivers. See who we know here. There's Sam Ord, Ingram, know that. Dale Jarrett. Who else we got here? Ottinger, Glenn Jarrett. That's when he was driving. Rick Mast. That's pretty cool. Who else? Tommy Ellis. I'm going to know all these probably. Davey Allison, Elton Sawyer. Yep. Steve Jarvis. Jimmy Hensley. Well, most of them anyway. Ed Barrier, Robert Ingram, Jeff Hensley, Brad Teague, Larry Pearson, Tommy Houston, Mike Porter. Tommy Houston won a bunch of races in that series. Wish Late Model Sportsman Awards Banquet. That's cool. Late Model Sportsman Final Point Standings. Sam Ard, the winner. Championship. The Goodies Sportsman 300, which is what's now called the tier that's right below the Cup. Used to be Grand National in the 80s and late 80s and 90s. Results of the 84 Goodies 500 or 300. That's on Saturday. Speedway Service Center. That's cool. The old gas station. 84 Goodies 300 Late Model Sportsman event. Darrell Waltrip won that. Interesting. Back when he was in more than just a couple of races in a weekend, you know. He was kind of like Schrader back in the day. Goodies 300 Invitational races. That's cool. Morgan McClure Racing debuts new team for 85. Morgan, or T.J. Shepard, the singer, and Joe Ruttman, the driver. That's pretty cool. Some more ads. Bunches of ads. Holleye. Ooh, there's Rat Fank. That's cool. The Rat's Hole. Daytona Beach, Florida. Copper Coats sponsored the Daytona series at Daytona. There's Michael Waltrip. He's young there. He's the dash driver. Mike Swain. There's Michael Waltrip. Wow. Doesn't even hardly look like him. Okay. Who we got here? Fred Turner. That's an interesting name. Davey Allison. Mike Powell. Dean Combs. There's another Michael. Okay. Mike Swain. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Who else we got here? Hut Strickland. Okay. Floyd Weaver. Ron Hevern. Billy Standridge. Huh. County King, don't know these. Nope, don't know any of them guys. There's a Comfort Coach 200. Cool pictures. That's back when the backstretch there, that was just, you could reach over, stand on the outside of that wall, reach over and just reach down to touch that. Because that wall is actually only about 4 foot high. I don't even think it's that high. It might be 4 foot on the backstretch, but on the turns, it's about 3 is all it is. I know, because I stood up there before there was fencing and all that around there. Career victors at Daytona. There's a bunch of different drivers showing that. A bunch of the ads here. That's cool. Go-kart race. Alright, we're getting up to about the same time as we did the last video, so get around 11 minutes, we're going to end this. Here's all the sponsors, lap sponsors. Interesting. I still did not see a, sponsor? A sunglasses, Chameleon. I did not see that lizard. So I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but there are a lot of little square ads here on just about every page, so I may have missed it. Or I could have been mistaken. It might have been the year before, but I think it was 85 when I did that. I forget. Actually, it might have been 84. I think because, who was it? Cale Yarborough, I believe, won the race that year. So it might have been 84. Whichever year he won, it was either 84 or 85. That's the year I did the sunglasses. So anyhow, there's the back cover. Pepsi. Let me know what y'all think. Hope y'all enjoyed that little trip down memory lane if you're a race fan. For nostalgic purposes, you know. Y'all take care. Leave a like, comment, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. It couldn't have to be related to this. And take care.